to the game that Myles attended last night at SoFi Stadium. The Chargers were the home team. The Chiefs were the visitors. What was your sense? Because I think it was you that tweeted. When you get to the end of the national anthem and they say the home of the Chiefs, it sounded like a Chiefs home game. What was your take on the split between Chargers fans and Chiefs fans?
It was probably about 50-50. I mean, it felt like kind of a bowl game, in the sense that there were just so many Chiefs fans. And because they're red, they stand out more than you would see the Chargers blue, because the blue blends more in with the blue seats. But when you see that red, and it was pretty clear when I was walking in from the parking lot, there were going to be a lot of Chiefs fans in the building. That's usually the case here in Los Angeles, and we've talked about it for the Rams. We've talked about it for the Chargers. It's just the way things are here in a transplant city. But yeah, it was at best for the Chargers, it was 50-50. And it was pretty much a wall of red behind the Chiefs bench. But, and I think that it's not on the telecast, but you can see behind the Chargers bench, it was more powder blue. But the Chiefs fans were making a lot of noise. And it was something that both Andy Reid and the players were acknowledging after the game, just how great the fans were for them. And when you have that in an away game, it makes a huge difference.
Simple take. You abandon a market, the second biggest market in the country, for 20 years. You invite everyone who lives there to be a fan of any team they choose. And then when those teams start coming to town, when you finally put two teams back in town, those fans are going to want to go see their favorite team play. And it's going to be that way for a while, I think, in Los Angeles. And it was a great game. I hope it keeps being this way a while for Chargers-Chiefs games, although one of these days the Chargers need to come out on top again. I think back to 2018, the Thursday night game, when Phillip Rivers and company went into Arrowhead and they were the 1 seed until they lost at home on the Saturday night to the Ravens. They were the 1 seed in the AFC in Patrick Mahomes' first year as a starter. But the Chargers having a hard time getting the better of Patrick Mahomes now. But at least we're getting great games. 30-27 is one of my all-time favorite final scores, even though that was the final score of the 1998 NFC Championship game. 30-27 means the game was exciting. It doesn't get into arena football territory like 51-48 would. 30-27 means there's a good amount of scoring. It was back and forth, and it probably had an exciting finish. And, oh, yes, Myles, you got to see a very exciting finish last night as the Chiefs keep finding a way. Sunday Night Football, Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. It's not dominant, but it's ultimately successful.
The thing that stuck out to me in the press conferences was when they asked Patrick Mahomes, well, what was the feeling in the huddle? And that's one of those things sports writers always ask. And, you wanted to get he had the look in his eye and it was fire and you could just tell that it was da-da-da-da. And Mahomes said, when we got into the huddle with 1:46 left or whatever it was, a couple of timeouts, it was just like, okay, let's go do this. It wasn't, we need to go da-da-da-da-da and I need to say this and that. No. It was, okay, we've practiced the situation. We've been here before. It doesn't really matter that the guys who are out here are not necessarily the top guys, right? They're down Mecole Hardman. They're down Juju Smith-Schuster. Kadarius Toney also went out. They're down a lot of guys, but the guys that were in, he said, I trust them. I know that they're going to be where they're supposed to be. And when Travis Kelce's one-on-one, that's the guy I'm throwing to. And lo and behold, it doesn't take very much for them to go down the field and score. It's one of those things where the Chiefs, their mentality, their mental fortitude, it's all so strong. They just know what they're going to do and they go and execute.
Well, and when you come back and tie a playoff game, a winner-go-home contest with 13 seconds left against one of the best teams in football, that just reinforces that there's nothing to freak out about. There's nothing to panic. You don't need some moment that breaks the ice. You don't need Joe Montana to say, hey, there's John Candy sitting in the front row. You don't need anything like that. Everybody's ready to go. It's old hat. It's kind of like the Tom Brady vibe. And it's what makes the Buccaneers dangerous in the postseason if and when they get there, and it makes the Chiefs dangerous every time they show up. They live for those moments. Everything else is just kind of humdrum and mundane. That's when you come to life. And don't we all have those moments in our own life, whatever it may be, whether it's your job, whether it's something at home, you get that moment where the switch flips and you know it's time. Like, and you can dread it, like, or whatever you however you feel beforehand, it doesn't matter. Because once it's time, it's time. And you either get it done or you don't. And for the Chiefs, it's okay, let's go do it. And yeah, was there ever any doubt? Did we expect to see Patrick Mahomes get sacked 3 straight times? Did we expect to see him throw an interception? It's not impossible, but we don't expect that. We expect to see them hot knife through butter their way down the field and get the win and then find a way to preserve the win. That's just kind of the way it is. And it's the ultimate level of confidence that is born of doing it over and over and over again. It also helps when you've never lost on the road to a division rival. 14-0. There's something wrong with that. Patrick Mahomes has never. I think it's so hard to beat division opponents. They know you. They don't fear you. Well, they must fear the Chiefs. You go on the road and constantly beat your division rivals 14 out of 14 times. That's one of the most amazing stats you can conjure in today's NFL, because we see what the Commanders did in Philly. Division rivals know how to play. They've built, they draft and sign players aimed at stopping you. They've been trying to do that. We're either going to try to slow down Mahomes, we're going to try to outscore Mahomes. Everything they try, it doesn't work. They can't beat him at home. It's amazing, Myles.
You know, I saw a tweet yesterday, and I wish I could remember who I saw it from so I could shout them out. But it was something like the AFC West spent about $1 billion to try to stop Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in this offseason. And the division race is pretty much over by Thanksgiving. It's done. They have a 3-game lead in the AFC West. You know, we're seeing the Broncos and the Raiders. They are dog water. The Chargers are still the Chargers. They're all right. They're decent. They have a quarterback that we think should be great, but at this point, he's not. And I don't know if it's the scheme holding him back, the coaching holding him back, whatever it is, but the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. And, you know, you go back to the 13 seconds, right? I mean, in that particular moment, they still have Tyreek Hill. They still have Travis Kelce. Tyreek Hill ain't there anymore. And they still are doing what they're doing. Now, the fact that they can integrate these young guys, the guys like the Pachecos of the world, the Sky Moores of the world, and they just come in there and make plays, speaks to their culture. They've got such a good winning culture there of accountability, right, and success. You talk about Sky Moore, somebody who had some difficulties with the punt returns earlier on in this season, and Andy Reid was saying last night that guys on the team just kept encouraging him. And he said that peer pressure in that way is some of the best thing that you could ever have, because it means that those guys believe in you. And so you're going to start believing in yourself. So that culture right now is as good as there is in football when it comes to making sure you have on-field success. All those dudes are super competitive and they all want to be great. And that's why they continue to do the things that they do in the division.
It was a point that Sims made when the Cowboys didn't have Dak Prescott earlier this year, and they really rolled up their sleeves and worked on getting the most out of their offense. When you have a great player, there's a temptation to kind of slip into autopilot. We got a great player. We've got Josh Allen. We've got Patrick Mahomes. We've got Tom Brady. But you still have to have the determination to get the most out of the team. It can't just be, we're going to sit back and fold our arms and let our great player go do great things. And that's what the Chiefs have always been with Patrick Mahomes. And that's one of the reasons, frankly, Patrick Mahomes became Patrick Mahomes. There was a small handful of coaches who knew this guy was going to be special. There wasn't anything coming out of his time at Texas Tech that screamed out potentially one of the greatest ever. It's easy to forget because we've become so accustomed to the fact that Patrick Mahomes equals all-time greatness. That wasn't the case. That's why he went 10th. He would have been first. He would have gone before Myles Garrett to Cleveland.
Yeah.
He'd be the Browns quarterback if everybody knew he was going to be this good. But he wouldn't be this good if he didn't have a coach that set that culture, an organization that puts in place everything around him where when you do have various pieces that need to step up, they step up. And the other remarkable fact, the Chiefs haven't lost a game in November or December since 2019.
That's crazy.
And I initially thought, Myles, it had to have been one of the Patrick Mahomes knee injury games. Remember, he got hurt on a Thursday night against the Broncos, and it looked like it was going to be really bad, and he just missed a couple of games. Packers, Vikings. Lost to the Packers, beat the Vikings. Their last loss in November or December,
I know what it is,
was to the Titans, 35-32, when Mahomes came back from the injury. So he actually played in that game. It was his first game back,
there.
barn burner against the Titans. Wow.
Yeah.
So there you go. See, that was a pop quiz. I could have given you where you gotten right. I should have given you the pop quiz because I didn't know. I didn't know. I thought it was like the Packers game.
Yeah, it's funny because it was a game after because I was covering the Raiders that year. So the Raiders had played on Thursday night, and so I went with a few buddies. They live in Nashville, and some of them are Chiefs fans who came from Kansas City, and we all met up and we went to that game. So yeah, that's why I know that. That was a crazy game too, because they should have won that game, but the kick got blocked at the end of it. So that's why the Titans won. So they were either going to tie it up or something. And it was basically like the 13 seconds where I think Mahomes had something like 17 seconds or something like that in order to get them into field goal range. He did. And then that kick got blocked. So yeah.
That's the only flaw when Mahomes is the one who is saving you. He's not the kicker. If Mahomes is the kicker, he's making that kick. That's when you have to take him off the field and hope that others really can get it done. The guy who got it done last night for the Chiefs was Travis Kelce with not one, not two, but 3 touchdown catches, including the game winner. Here's Patrick Mahomes from after the game talking about his guy, Travis Kelce, getting it done.
We do this a lot. Coach Reed prepares us for these moments. We knew we had a lot of time on the clock. We knew we had some timeouts, so we didn't rush. We just kind of went through what we do every single day at practice and everything like that. And we executed. And I thought, obviously Travis, it's Travis. He's the greatest tight end of all time. He makes plays like that win games. What's special about him is he just competes. At the end of the day, he's going to keep fighting until the very end. And that's when you see that, I think it not only is impressive for him, but it gets other guys going. It shows that, like I say, he's one of the best, not the best tight end of all time, and he's coming to work every single day to get better. And so that shows you whenever you step into the facility, you're like, man, I got to get to work. If this guy's doing it, I have to be able to at least match that. And so that leadership that he brings, as well as the play he brings in the field, is special, and it takes a lot off my shoulders.
Gronk's going to hear that greatest tight end of all time and unretire. Probably not. Kelce really is amazing. And look at that. And I love that, too. He's got just enough of that showmanship, and I think part of that's an influence of Patrick Mahomes because there is an element of that, are you not entertained? We see Kelce do that from time to time, too. He throws his arms out Russell Crowe style, are you not entertained? He is very entertaining, and he's clutch. He gets open when he needs to be, and then after the catch, like he just, he doesn't look like he should be able to do that, but he does it. Old man can run.
Yeah, representing the suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio, Travis Kelce, just like myself. It's so fun to watch him. You know what's funny, Mike? They said after the game that the Chargers apparently had a good plan for him. And boy, even Travis Kelce was like, man, Derwin James got the better of me throughout that game. I'm looking at the stats. I'm like, he had 6 for 115 with 3 touchdowns. And you think Derwin James got the better of you most of the game? Like, wow. The Chiefs' stances are pretty damn high. If you can end up with that and you still say, oh, man, boy, they did a great job against me. Did they? I don't know. But I guess they did. If he didn't have like 200 yards, then I don't know, man.
He now does have the record for the most 100-plus yard receiving games by a tight end in NFL history with 33. And I thought of something as you were saying that. There was a time where the NFL's number one question was, how do you ever defend Rob Gronkowski? What do you do? I remember it was heading into the 2015 season, I believe. That was the year that the Steelers played the Patriots to start the year, and they actually ultimately tried a very novel approach of defending Rob Gronkowski with no one at all. That game included a completely busted coverage where he was wide open all alone. But what do? Do you double him? Do you use a safety? Do you use your top corner? Do you chip him at the line of scrimmage and then pass him off to somebody else? Like, nobody could figure. Why has there never been an obsession with how do you stop Travis Kelce? Maybe they know you just can't. It's not even worth wasting your time. Like, he's going to get his catches. He's going to get his yards. We just have to minimize the damage that the others do to us. And that's why I think there was an organizational shrug when Tyreek Hill goes. One of the reasons, we still got Travis Kelce. We still know that Patrick Mahomes can rely upon him in key moments to make things happen. When the game's on the line and everybody knows he's going to get it. We've seen games like that where everybody knows who's getting it. Everybody knows. And they still make it work. And that's a testament to the greatness of Travis Kelce.
No doubt about it. He really is one of the greatest tight ends of all time, in a franchise that has had more than one of them, right? If you think about Tony Gonzalez, what he was able to do for so many years there with Kansas City, and now you have Travis
in the
Kelce
cold
also
too.
in that
division. I had no. Tony Gonzalez's accomplishments are even more impressive now that I know he can't function in the cold.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. I
I'm
don't really
just
know where
making
you're
an
going with that.
observation.
Okay.
I'm just
okay.
saying. Anytime. I mean, he's under a heated blanket. I mean, he can't talk right in the cold. Like, how did you ever play football in Kansas City if you can't function in the cold when you're sitting and talking? Anyway, maybe he needs to be running around. Maybe he needs to be doing high knees on the sideline.
Maybe, the high knees on the sideline, like some people do on planes, allegedly, before they go to London.
Yes.
No, it's funny, Mike. So Mahomes last night, he's talking about, I go where the read is unless Travis Kelce is matched up one-on-one, and then I just throw it to him. And everybody in the media room laughs. And so he follows up like, "You're not really joking about that, are you?" And Mahomes like, "No, I'm not joking. If Travis Kelce's matched up one-on-one, he's one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Not the greatest. So yeah, I'm going to that guy." And so that's why we see what we see. And so even when Derwin James does apparently a good job against Travis Kelce, there are points where Travis Kelce is still going to get his. And that's just the beauty of the Chiefs offense, that they've got all these weapons that they all trust. And, if you cover some guys, sometimes Travis Kelce's going to be one-on-one, and they're going to scheme that up, and he's going to be that target that Patrick Mahomes trusts, and he's going to make the catch. He's going to do elusive things after the catch, and he's going to get into the end zone, especially against the Chargers.
By the way, we should have known that Travis Kelce was going to have the on-field trifecta during the game, because prior to the game, he had the trifecta on his T-shirt. I have to get me one of these. This is going on the Christmas list, Santa. Football, family, Fonzie. Oh, when I saw that, I couldn't believe it. And I took a picture and tweeted it. Of course, the picture was all blurry, and you get dragged.
Yeah.
If you don't put professional quality photos on Twitter, you will get dragged. But I was so excited when I saw that. And I know somebody who's a huge Fonzie fan, and I texted it to him, and there's Fonzie. Henry Winkler. Apparently he was on Rich Eisen's show, and he was talking about how much he likes the Chiefs and Mahomes, and Fonzie is in the building. When Fonzie is on your side, people, you cannot lose. Do you even know who Fonzie is?
Not. The Fonzie? I know that. Monday, Tuesday, happy days. Come on.
All right, very good. Yes, very good. You know what the original theme song to Happy Days was? Do you know the original theme song?
No, you'll sell me on that
Rock
one.
Around the Clock. Rock Around the Clock.
Really? Oh, okay.
Hit from the
probably
50s.
better
Bill Haley
known
in the comments.
Winkler probably better known as the guy in Barry at this point, though. I think Mahomes probably might know him as that more than knows him as the Fonz.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.